The cabin of Northstar Flight 822 buzzed with low conversation as passengers settled into their seats. But the moment Caleb Mercer, a poised black CEO in a midnight blue suit, approached seat 1A, everything seemed to slow into a tense hush. He slid his briefcase beneath the seat with the calm precision of someone accustomed to boardrooms, negotiations, and global deals, not chaos. But chaos found him anyway. A flight attendant marched over, her expression sharp with unwarranted suspicion. "Sir, first class is reserved for premium ticket holders," she said, glancing past him as if expecting the actual passenger to appear. Caleb handed her his boarding pass, but she barely glanced before frowning. "This can't be right. You must have been upgraded by mistake." Her tone carried that familiar sting, soft enough to deny, sharp enough to wound. Caleb kept his voice steady. "It's correct. Please scan it." Instead, she stepped aside and whispered to another attendant, loud enough for half the cabin to hear. "We need to verify him." The man in 1B smirked and muttered, "There's always one trying to sneak in." A woman across the aisle added, "He shouldn't be up here. It doesn't look right." Caleb inhaled slowly, the insult cutting deeper not for its words but its familiarity. The attendants returned with forced smiles. "Sir, until we confirm your status, we must ask you to move to economy." Gasps flickered through the cabin. Caleb rose, slowly, deliberately, but not to comply. Instead, he reached into his jacket and withdrew a black, embossed ID card marked with the golden crest of Mercer Aero Group, the conglomerate that owned Northstar Airlines outright. The attendants froze. Passengers fell silent. Caleb's voice was low, controlled, deadly calm. "Before you try to remove me from 1A," he said, meeting their eyes, "you should know, you work for me." A wave of stunned silence rippled down the cabin as the attendants stared, faces draining of color. One stammered, "Mr. Mercer, we didn't realize." But Caleb cut her off with a quiet firmness that silenced the row behind him. "You didn't need to know who I was to treat me with respect," he said. The cabin manager rushed forward, nearly tripping over herself. "Mr. Mercer, I am so deeply sorry, this is unacceptable." "It is," he agreed. "And it's also systemic." Every passenger in first class stiffened, unable to escape the truth echoing from his voice. The manager tried to usher the attendants aside, but Caleb held up a hand. "Not yet." He turned to the cabin, letting his gaze sweep over the people who had judged him without hesitation. "You watched," he said, not accusing, but exposing. "You watched them question me, challenge me, attempt to remove me, not because of protocol, but because of perception." A hush spread like a storm cloud. The man in 1B looked away. The woman across the aisle swallowed hard. Caleb continued calm but resonant. "I'm not angry. I'm tired. Tired of being treated like an exception when I succeed, and a threat when I simply exist." The cabin manager's eyes glistened. "Mr. Mercer, I assure you, there will be consequences. These attendants will be removed from duty." "No," Caleb interrupted. "Firing individuals won't fix a culture. Change requires deeper work." He stepped closer, speaking to the entire first-class cabin as though delivering a keynote address. "So here's what's going to happen. This flight will not depart until a full incident report is filed, signed by every witness in this cabin. Training protocols will be reviewed, rewritten, and implemented before month's end. And I will personally oversee every step." His presence radiated authority, not loud, not forceful, but unshakably grounded. The attendants lowered their heads. The passengers who once whispered now sat perfectly still. Caleb returned to seat 1A, not with triumph, but with purpose. The plane didn't just feel quieter, it felt rearranged. The replacement crew arrived 20 minutes later, their demeanor crisp and respectful, carrying the weight of what they had been told before stepping on board. Caleb sat in 1A, hands folded, posture calm but eyes sharp with contemplation. Across the aisle, a teenage girl looked at him with awe. "Sir, are you like the boss of this whole airline?" He offered a soft smile. "I help run the company, yes." She hesitated, then whispered, "They shouldn't have treated you like that." Caleb nodded gently. They shouldn't treat anyone like that. Her mother reached over, squeezing the girl's hand, visibly moved by the conversation. The plane doors closed, but the quiet energy remained, an entire cabin humbled by the realization they had witnessed something bigger than a seating dispute. When the cabin manager returned for the final time, her voice wavered. "Mr. Mercer, corporate is preparing a formal apology." Caleb looked out the window, the runway lights reflecting in his eyes. "No statements," he said softly. "Substance." She nodded, understanding the difference. As the engines roared and the plane surged forward, passengers watched Caleb not like a spectacle, but with deep, undeniable respect. He hadn't just claimed a seat. He'd claimed the truth. When the plane lifted off, the teenage girl whispered to her mother, "That man changed everything." And she was right. He had. If this story moved you, if it made you think, reflect, or reconsider the moments we witness but often stay silent about, don't leave without adding your voice. Tell me in the comments, what part hit hardest? Was it when Caleb was questioned for simply existing in a space he earned? When the passengers watched quietly? Or the moment he revealed the truth and shifted the entire dynamic with a single sentence? Your voice matters. These stories aren't just entertainment. They shine a light on real patterns, real wounds, and the real work needed to create change. Comment your thoughts, your feelings, or your own experiences. Someone reading your comment might feel seen for the first time. Share this video with someone who needs to understand how subtle discrimination hides behind policy, procedure, or just doing my job. And if you believe in storytelling that challenges injustice, honors resilience, and pushes conversations forward, not backward, then hit like, share, and subscribe. This community grows with every voice that refuses to look away. These stories only reach the world when people like you help amplify them. So stay connected. Stay engaged. Let's keep building a space where truth is spoken, empathy is valued, and silence is no longer the norm. Your support makes these stories possible. And together, we can make sure they're never ignored again.